isn't one thing wrong with it, it's everything. As well as the stuttering engine and the slick tyres, it's turned out to be a beast to balance, especially with a suitcase on the carrier. I nurse it along, glad no one's around to see what a fool I'm making of myself. The turning I want comes up on the right, beyond the thatched roof of the new hotel. I'm congratulating myself that I've only got a mile or so more to go when the engine gives out a rattling belch of blue smoke and comes to a halt. I manage to get off before the bike tips onto the ground, taking a slice out of my ankle as it falls. The last-minute things I stuffed into a basket and tied to the handlebars spill out over the wet road. I let the bike lie while I collect up my scattered possessions. Hairbrush and comb, purse, and a notebook that by sod's law has fallen into a patch of mud. I swipe the worst of the muck off with my glove, shove everything back in the basket. My pen and a lipstick are nestling together in a clump of grass, while the tin of shortbread, Dot, my Romsey landlady, made for me, has rolled 10 yards down the road. Though it's still sealed, it rattles ominously when I pick it up. It was meant as a thank you gift for the couple who are going to put me up for the next few weeks, though now it looks as if it will have to be a sorry I broke it, but it should still taste all right kind of thing. Another muddy wipe of the glove, and I'm ready to wrestle with the bike again. I heave it back onto its wheels, but there's a strong smell of petrol, and an iridescent pool of fuel sloshes across the road. Cursing, I try to get the bike to start, but it's no good. The lane goes uphill from here, and it's too heavy to pedal without the engine. I'm tempted to abandon it, but I think about the £5 and what we've been told about not leaving the means of transport available for a possible enemy, and start to push. As I walk, I remind myself of all the reasons a temporary assignment away from Romsey is a good idea. I've been working with the town's coroner, Bram Nash, for almost 2 years now, but there's been so little to do lately I've had to make work for myself, filing papers no one will ever need to look at again, tidying archive boxes only the spiders ever visit. It was April 1941 when he'd first taken me on as his assistant. A girl had been murdered, her body dumped in the ruins of a bombed-out pub on the outskirts of Romsey, the same day I arrived back in my hometown after more than 20 years away. We'd worked together to identify Ruth Taylor and track down her killer. But events like that don't happen every day in a sleepy little town like Romsey. Though there's been other work to do, unexpected deaths that have required the coroner's attention, we both know I've not been earning my salary. Trouble is, we can't forget what happened between us, rub along casually as colleagues or even friends. There's always a sense of tension. It was all right when we were busy, but since things have got slack, I found myself thinking about the personal stuff, wishing we hadn't made such a mess of our relationship. The sex. Sometimes I've seen it in his eyes too, in the brusque way he avoids any kind of physical contact. Any contact at all that isn't directly to do with work, come to that. We don't discuss it. How can we? I'd have to say I regret it. And I don't, despite everything. But what he feels, I can't even begin to guess. Back when we were children, Bram and I were friends. There was a gang of us, the rest all boys, all older than me. But he was the leader, and he made them let me tag along. A little girl everyone else despised because I didn't have a father. We'd play cowboys and Indians, cavaliers and roundheads, pirates. And if I was always the one who got captured or was made to walk the plank, he'd be Abraham Lincoln, Prince Rupert, or, best of all, Cap'n Abe, the pirate king, and he'd always try to save me. I was almost 14 when my grandmother died, and my grandfather threw me out, as he'd always wanted to do. I was a bastard who'd brought shame on the family, and he wanted nothing more to do with me. Not long after that, I heard the boys from the gang had all gone off to war. Jem, the policeman's son, had come home unscathed from the trenches, but my uncle, Mike, more like a brother to me, Bert, the farmer's son, and scruffy little Billy Stewart, had died.